Good morning, everyone. My name's Barbara Kane, and I'm a licensed spiritual practitioner with the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living right here in RTP, North Carolina. And this is our morning meditation. And with gratitude to Michelle Love, who wrote this meditation, as I was looking through my books and inspirational pieces, I found this and thought it would be perfect for today. Take flight. Sit still with a straight spine. Cover up your fidgety eyeballs with the sheets of your eyelids. Hold them still. Breathe in deeply through your nose, expanding your rib cage to its fullest. Hold for a moment. Then release slowly through your nose, exhaling completely. Repeat this with awareness of the life force that is your breath. Then loosen your mind from the consciousness of body weight. Continue to breathe with awareness. Relax the nerve strings that are attached to the heavy muscles and bones of your body. Forget the consciousness of carrying a heavy bundle of bones tied to the thick cloth of flesh. Rest. Breathe in. Breathe out. Rest. Free your mind from the consciousness of bodily restraint. Allow the boundaries of fresh flesh to become permeable. Continue to breathe deeply as you feel your soul untied from the constant material quality of heaviness. Mentally imagine your soul having an experience beyond bodily constraint, rising up, out, soaring, above, beneath, left, right, in infinity, or wherever you want to go. You are free. Feel and meditate on this, your mental freedom from your body. Dream, dwell, and feel this body aboveness when sitting still. The consciousness of freedom will constantly increase. Your soul has no limits, no constraints, no boundaries, free to be wherever and whenever you choose, rising above the earthly realm. Take flight. Feel the I am in your freedom. I am infinite. I am spaceless. I am tireless. I am beyond body, thought, and utterance, beyond all matter and mind. I am endless bliss. I am no longer the wave of consciousness thinking itself separated from the sea of cosmic consciousness. I am the ocean of spirit that has become a wave of human life. I allow myself to rest with ease, just breathing, just being, giving my soul an opportunity to remember vastness, remember the infinite, remember the wholeness and peace of which It is created. And with the coming music, continue your expansiveness. Now we'll have a silent meditation time with the musical background for a few minutes. moment, I am a spiritual wave of an infinite, omnipresent life force that I call God. As I know the truth of who I am, I know it is true for each and every being everywhere. And so it is. And so I invite you now to move your fingers and toes, open your eyes when you feel comfortable to do so. And thank you for joining me this morning for today's meditation. And please join us at 10:15 when our regular service starts. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living. Whether you've joined us here at 4 Points by Sheridan or you've invited us into your homes this morning, we're very grateful that you are here. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Dusty Rippelmeyer, and I have the privilege and the honor of being this community's spiritual director. We're part of a larger organization called Centers for Spiritual Living. And Centers for Spiritual Living believe that there is one power and presence that is the creative energy back of everything that there is, seen and unseen. It goes by many different names. Some people call it God. Some people call it first cause. Some people call it love. Some people call it um, nothing at all. Yahweh, yes, really. There's a million of them. But by whatever name we call it, it is ever present, it is benevolent, it is always ready, willing, and able to give us the kingdom of heaven on earth. It's not something outside of us sitting up in a cloud somewhere in a long white beard, doling out punishments and favors at will, but it is an energy that is within us and surrounding us. We believe that it is that creative energy that created everything, and since we are its ambassadors here on earth, and we too have that ability to create. And in fact, we've been creating all of our lives, whether we are aware of it or not. Sometimes we create consciously, and sometimes we create unconsciously. But we come here on Sundays and Wednesdays and for classes and social events to really support each other as we walk this spiritual path, to remind each other who we are and to know that truth when one or the other of us is struggling to remember who we are. We believe that we can create a life that we love to live, and that our vision is to create a world that works for everyone. One heart, one mind, one consciousness at a time. So we thank you all for joining us today. I would like to take a moment for a moment of silence. And as most of you probably know, parts of Syria and Turkey were struck this last week by a devastating earthquake that has taken at least 25,000 lives and left hundreds of thousands of people without shelter in the middle of winter. The earthquake affected some of the most vulnerable people in the world. More than 4 million Syrians who rely on humanitarian aid live in that region. As rescue workers continue to look for trapped victims in the rubble, more than 20 countries, many organizations, and countless individuals have raced to the earthquake sites to assist. If you are interested in assisting in any way, UNICEF is one of the many organizations that you can contact in order to donate, whether that's money or donate clothes or whatever it is that they need and whatever you feel called to do. So UNICEF. So I invite everyone to turn within for a few moments of silence and to speak a word of prayer internally for yourself, for everyone there that's been affected by this devastating earthquake, and for all of those that are rushing to their aid. Today I affirm that right where all of the people throughout Syria and Turkey are, God is as divine right action. That the earthquake victims are rescued, tended to, and cared for. I affirm that first responders have the tools and resources needed to save lives and are strengthened through and by their service. I affirm that right where the leaders of these countries are, God is as a divine presence within them and surrounding them, supporting them with its wisdom and its insight. I declare that right where all people everywhere are, God is as the presence of love and compassion, and they recognize their union with all people. I claim that there is a willingness within each of us to be a beneficial presence in whatever way we are called to, giving legs to the compassionate heart within all of us. I wrap a blanket of peace that passes all understanding over the entire planet as I release these words into the law with gratitude. Letting go and letting God be God, we anchor this prayer with our words. And so it is. Amen. So I would love to thank Barbara Kane for her beautiful meditation that extended and expanded the container that our service will unfold within. Thank you very much, Babs. And speaking of Babs, please welcome her back to the podium.
Thanks, Dusty. And good morning again, everyone. Our theme for the year 2023 is Living Out Loud. Our theme for the month of February is Curiosity is a Superpower. Reverend Dusty's talk title is Living Curiosity Out Loud. And now I'm going to read this community's purpose statement. This is our reason for being here. Our purpose is to inspire, educate, and empower individuals to experience themselves as unique and individualized expressions of God, the love intelligence that governs the universe. We are committed to not merely a theoretical understanding of our oneness and unity with God, but to consciously practice the truth in our everyday lives. Through celebration, service, study, and fellowship, we are committed to the transformation of our personal lives and to being a powerful and beneficial presence on the planet. With the energy of unconditional love, simply, we are here for God. And now I invite everyone to please turn within for a moment, open your heart and mind, and allow the healing sounds of the crystal bowls to simply wash over you.
And when you're ready, go ahead and bring your attention back into your bodies and into this room. Wiggle your toes and open your eyes. And at this time, the Triangle Center for Spiritual Living honors the diversity and threads of truth that runs through all spiritual paths as represented by the following ceremony. Please welcome Babs and Brooks, who will be assisting us this morning. Christianity is the path of Christ consciousness, love, and forgiveness. Buddhism is the path of compassion and understanding. Judaism is the ethical path of living by sacred law. Baha'i is the path of unity and peace. Islam is the path of submission to the will of God, the highest calling. Confucianism is the path of deliberate tradition. Taoism is the natural way, the path of ultimate reality. Native American practice and shamanic traditions are the path of primal spirituality. Shintoism is the path of tribal ancestry. Hinduism is the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. Science of mind and spirit is the path of divine principle of love and law. And the heart represents the one heart, the one love that resides at the center of all people, all beings everywhere, with no exceptions. May peace prevail on earth through the followers of all paths. Thank you very much, Brooks and Babs, for your assistance. And so it is. At this time, if you can close your outer eyes and turn within one more time, recognizing that the oneness, the wholeness that at this moment we call God, but really is beyond names, that is already here and always accessible 24 hours, always waiting for us to reach out to it. As I know that I am one with this consciousness, with this energy, with this unconditional love, I know that that is the truth of all beings here in this room and all beings everywhere, watching on Zoom, in their living rooms, and everywhere all around us, no matter what. As I recognize this great truth, it brings great peace and gratitude. And in this service here today, I give great thanks for Cindy for her talent and her music, for Babs for her meditation and her presence, for Heather for her constant and unwavering support, for Reverend Dusty unconditional love and beingness with us, for John for his help, for the setting up the room so early this morning, and for Dennis and for Brooks for assisting for the very first time in helping us with our celebration of all truths. And so just knowing that everyone steps up with their whole vulnerable heart, their courage, and their love in standing up for truth. I give great thanks for our presence here. I give great thanks for the presence of all people watching this session here now and in the future. So I'm so very grateful for all of us raising our consciousness together, doing our part where we can. I give great thanks, and together we say, and so it is. And the reading for today is from Dennis Merritt Jones. And he says, the pathway to the top of the mountain is lined with campsites along the way, occupied by those who yielded to the resistance of walking the path of uncertainty and who weren't able to embody the deeper meaning of commitment to going the distance. The universe conspires to support us when our commitment takes us beyond the point of no return. And the point of no return always opens the door to the mystery of what lies ahead on the pathway of uncertainty, to that which is yet to be. And at this moment, I introduce and give you Cindy Johnson. Thank you.
Um, this song is a little way to think about things that you never thought about before. Maybe the full moon is just a big hole in the blue where God has put his thumb in so heaven can shine through. And what if you live when you sleep, dream when you're awake. Maybe dogs can understand every word you say. Maybe every time a baby cries, another flower blooms. And when the trees sway in the breeze, they're waving right at you. Every time you sing out loud, an angel hums along. And no one out there anywhere can really prove you wrong. I don't care whatever they say, miracles happen every day. So wind up your mind up and you're good to go. Come on, roll with it. What do you know? What if every rainbow really has a pot of gold? And beer and Girl Scout cookies are good for the soul. Hummingbirds think you're the coolest thing they've ever seen. And you can play with giants if you just plant the beans. I don't care whatever they say, miracles happen every day. So wind up your mind up and you're good to go. Come on and roll with it. What do we know? What if envy's really green? Sad is really blue. If everything that you believe, it's really up to you. I don't care whatever they say, miracles happen every day. So wind up your mind up and you're good to go. Come on and roll with it. What do we know? What do we know? Yeah. What do we know?
Beautiful, Cindy. Yes. What do we really know? It's kind of what we're talking about, right? This whole month. This whole month. What is it that we really know? Now, I'm not saying anything that we all haven't heard before when I say that we are made in the image and likeness of God, and that we are all receptacles for all of God's limitless good. As magnificent expressions of the divine, all that we are and all that we experience is simply God having its way through and as us. We are all called to live life to the fullest. And when we dive in, filled with curiosity and imagination, we are answering that call. We are following that call. Do you ever wonder about what that life would look like? Do you ever wonder about how it would feel? Do you ever wonder about who you need to be and what you need to do in order to live that life, in order to live life to its fullest? Now, I don't know about all of you, but I am. I am drawn to being curious because in my heart of hearts, I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that curiosity is a superpower. Curiosity grows our awareness. It sparks our imagination. It expands our consciousness. It builds our mental equivalence that we have. And it opens us up to more and more of God's goodness. Curiosity as a superpower can transform our lives, both individually and collectively. delving into the unknown, seeking to know more about ourselves, about each other, and about our world leads us to some pretty amazing discoveries and also to more questions. What we know for sure is that even as we answer the questions that we already have, our curiosity is presenting us with more and more and more to contemplate. And that is the really good news. Now, practically, there's many different ways that we can use curiosity to expand and enrich our lives. One example of that is to be curious about ourselves. Now, last week we spoke about what lies beneath the surface. And as I began initially to think about that talk title, my first thoughts went towards that early morning hours of April 15th, 1912, when over 2,000 crew members and passengers were awoken by the ghastly sound of ice scraping on the hull of the Titanic. As the dying ship slowly sank beneath the waves and into the deep, cold waters of the North Atlantic, the culprit of this gruesome scene was apparent. Right? It was the work of this gigantic mountain of ice that was appearing above the surface of the dark waters, that was protruding out from them. But ultimately, what caused the destruction of this indestructible ship and took the lives of 1,500 innocent souls was not the formidable ice that showed above the water, but actually the unseen structure that was beneath the surface that ruined the Titanic. Now, many people would argue that it was what was beneath that surface that did the Titanic in, but I would argue that it was their lack of awareness of what was beneath the surface that actually ruined that ship. Subtle, right? Very subtle, but different. As I think about my relationship with myself, I think about that iceberg. I think about what lies beneath the surface of my mind, those thoughts and beliefs that lie within my subconsciousness. Because I know that, like the iceberg, whatever is beneath the surface of my mind is actually there and in all probability having its way with me. That it is more likely that I will not become the person I came here to be because of the hidden and underlying beliefs that lie within my subconsciousness, that lie beneath the surface that I'm not even aware of, that will do me in rather than anything external to me. And because of that, I become very curious. Cultivating curiosity in our relationships with ourselves can assist us to develop our self-awareness and our self-understanding and our self-esteem. This approach can support us in being more honest and authentic with ourselves about our thoughts and about our feelings and about our actions and behaviors and desires and needs. The invitation is to do the inner work, to schedule some time to be self-reflective, to look at what lies beneath the surface, and to do so with compassion instead of self-criticism. I know you all know what I'm talking about, that little voice that's so critical of ourselves. But truly, the only way to find out beneath the surface is to do that work and to do it compassionately. In the area of our thoughts and feelings and beliefs and behaviors, the invitation is that the next time we make a mistake, or the next time we overly react to a friend or a loved one, or the next time we fail to meet an expectation, or the next time we do something that we wished we hadn't done, is to not beat ourselves up, but to explore our thoughts and our feelings and our behaviors. We're encouraged to ask ourselves some questions, such as, what is the thought that was at the forefront of my mind immediately, right in that moment? What was the forefront, the thought that was in the forefront of my mind? What belief or story could have brought that there? What is the feeling that I'm feeling right now? What is this emotion trying to tell me? What can I learn from it? Why did I behave the way that I did? What old thought or underlying belief influenced me? Now, in the area of our goals and preferences, we're encouraged to dive into deep questions such as, what do I want to be in my life right now and beyond? 5 years from now or 10 years from now? What makes me want to get up in the morning? What twirls my skirt? What positive steps are calling me to take in order to continue to keep moving forward in my lives? What obstacles appear to be in my way, and what do I need to do in order to support myself as I move through them? What is the highest vision of my life, and what can I do today to start moving forward in that vision? What do I need to embrace, and what do I need to let go of? These are all questions that we should be curious enough to ask ourselves about. Curiosity is the way that we can become more self-aware. Socrates said, an unexamined life is not worth living. An unexamined life is not worth living. Curiosity is the superpower that can allow us to do just that, to pull us in the direction of uncovering our good that's beneath all of the stories and the old patterns that we have been telling ourselves over years and years and years. If we continue to do and think and believe only what we have done and thought and believed in the past, then we will never change. We will never grow or evolve. We will never become who we came here to be. We will never live our lives out loud. We will never be able to live our highest and best life. Rumi says, we have been walking in the surf holding our robes up when we should be naked, diving under, deeper under. The second example is curiosity about others, curiosity about within our relationships. Everyone has their own story. And in most of our interactions, we only see one side or one aspect of the other person or other people, groups of people. We can use curiosity to really know those around us better and to really take our relationship with them to a deeper level. There are certainly so many interesting and fascinating things about our loved ones that we can still discover. How many times have you been sitting with someone and said, well, I never knew that about you before? There are so many interesting and fascinating things. And the invitation is to try to approach people with curiosity. Who are they really? What do they love to do? What is their family situation like? What events have shaped their lives? What have been their biggest challenges? What are their dreams for the future? What unique talents do they have? What brings them joy and passion and purpose? What changes do they want to make in their lives? These are just a few of the things that we could be curious about. Now, I know we all love the practical side of things, so here's a few actionable ways that we can embrace curiosity. Number one, express genuine interest. Be interested and not interesting. Number two, find out what they want to talk about, not your agenda or every little fact or little tidbit that you would like to contribute. Number three, don't show off. Quit attempting to look right or smart or absolutely certain. Number four, listen to hear something new from an underlying desire to learn something new. Number five, hear about what is important to them. Listen for their raw feelings. And number six, stay out of problem solving or advice giving. Listen. Reverently listen. When we are reverently listening, we are not planning what we are going to say in our minds. We are simply listening. So stay out of problem solving or advice giving, even if you feel like it's obvious or you have a counterpoint. The bottom line is that curiosity will deepen our relationships with those around us. So let's go beyond those in that first sphere, go beyond our friends and our family and other loved ones. And I'm sure that everybody would agree that our experience of the last few years, the real current polarizing times, has been and it continues to be very tough, very rough. If we were to be completely honest with ourselves, we all struggle periodically to like or to understand or to respect other people. Now, we see this with people that we have history with. We see this with people we're related to. We see this with other people that we love, but especially with people who don't think or believe as we do. People that appear to have been born and raised on a completely different planet. And yet, we all live on this earth together. In order to survive, we have to figure out how to get along. We have to figure out how to bridge the divides that separate us. In a fast-paced, reactive, and noisy world, listening and speaking the truth has become more complicated, moment by moment. But what if we could change that dynamic? What if there was a cure, a way to have better, deeper, and more courageous, crucial conversations? Even for those of us that shy away from them or avoid them at all costs. What if there was a way? How can we engage optimally with people if they hold different perspectives, different values, and different beliefs? Once again, curiosity is our superpower. It can assist us in these difficult times and in these really challenging situations. Situations in which we struggle to navigate the hard conversations or the conflict that is between us, that sits heavily within those divides. It is the superpower that we can and should use to bridge the gap, to bridge those divides, to bridge the differences between us. In an interview that I came across, Monica Guzman, the author of a book called I Never Thought of It That Way, How to Have Fearless Conversations in Dangerously Divided Times. I'm thinking you all might want to hear that again so you can write it down. Monica Guzman, the author of I Never Thought of It That Way, How to Have Fearless Conversations in Dangerously Divided Times. Anyway, in that interview, she spoke about the challenges we have to actually bridging the divide. And she said that in her research, she had been noticing that for over the last few years, that has become this relational shift toward somewhat of a waning of curiosity. And not only a waning of curiosity, but that waning is replaced by stereotypes and by assumptions, and even in some situations, just downright hatred. Now, that kind of underlying behavior can only deepen the divide. And when we are so divided, we get stuck in a rut in which we think that we know everything that there is to know about everyone else on the planet. And we do not. We do not. Without deeper conversations driven by curiosity, we actually know very little. Very, very little. Remember last week I talked about that circle representing everything that we know and everything that we don't know. And I asked everybody to choose an amount that represented what you know, and everything that you don't know. But in reality, in that whole big old circle, there's one dot that represents everything you know and everything you don't know. And everything else in that circle is everything you don't even know that you don't know. We know very little. We need to become curious. Guzman said there's all this research that shows us that when people on one or another side of a political divide, and I will add on either side of any kind of divide, are asked to estimate the views of the other, they grossly exaggerate. I mean, to the point that you have to wonder, how can we pretend to be informed when we're not informed about each other? When we don't even know each other's perspectives, we are judging each other more while engaged with each other less. This is a vicious circle that takes us away from reality, but at the same time, we're plagued by certainty. We're plagued by fear. And it turns out that these two are two arch villains of curiosity. The arch villains of curiosity, certainty and fear. Who here has lived their entire lives in North Carolina? A few people. Who then was here in 1971? A few more people. Who remembers a woman named Ann Atwater or a man named C.P. Ellis? Now, in July of 1971, the Durham schools were suffering from increasing racial tensions. Students and parents were getting into fights at the schools over issues of desegregation. Motivated by his fear of violence at the schools, a councilman named Bill Riddick, organized a series of community meetings called a charrette. Now, a charrette may refer to any collaborative session in which a group of people come together to draft a solution for a particular problem while integrating the aptitudes and the interests of a diverse population. The first step was to create a steering committee, and that was representative of that community. And Durham is and was, even during that time, very diverse. So Bill Riddick recruited participants from all sectors of Durham. Every area of Durham was represented, and then he invited Ann Atwater to co-chair the charrette with C.P. Ellis. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the events at that time, Ann Atwater was a Black activist. very active in the Durham area. While C.P. Ellis was the reigning, exalted Grand Cyclops of the Durham Ku Klux Klan. Atwater initially declined being co-chair for the charrette, but ultimately, very reluctantly, agreed to work with Ellis. He had similar feelings and was overheard to say, "It is impossible. There's absolutely no way I can work with her." After 10 days of talks, they began to really see their shared humanity. They came to see that they, as poor people, were both oppressed and that their children faced many of the same issues. After 10 days of talks, Ellis came to believe that whites, especially poor whites, could prosper more from the civil rights movement than they could from segregation. After 10 days of talks, they came to know each other as individuals instead of stereotypes. Over the course of the charrette, two agonists eventually learned to work together. Moving past race, they began to focus on other issues. They began to focus about why they were actually there in the first place, the academic quality of Durham schools. After 10 days of talks, C.P. Ellis and Ann Atwater became the unlikeliest of friends, a friendship that they maintained throughout the rest of their lives. This true story is about two arch enemies who first came together in animosity. Animosity because of the past stories that had shaped their lives. Stories that created the biases and the beliefs that they both brought to the table. They saw only their differences and they felt only rage and resentment. However, once they actually sat down and talked with each other, they became aware of their commonalities, the things that made them more alike than they could have ever imagined. They became curious about each other. Over time, and not really such a very long time, 10 days. 10 days, everything changed. Everything changed. C.P. Ellis, even at a big rally, tore up his Ku Klux Klan membership card and never was involved with them ever again. Curiosity is a superpower. In a virtual conference called O Shift, Healing the Divide, Reverend Dr. Edward Vilhune spoke about his 5 ideas for bridging the divide, and they include, number 1, and first and foremost, curiosity about the other. The invitation is to lay aside our assumptions, to lay aside our belief that we know everything that we need to know about the person sitting across from us and our preconceived judgments about who we think they are. Be curious. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Don't be afraid to find out that we are more alike than we would care to admit. Number 2, willingness to try on the other's way. Drop the goal of total agreement. Drop the goal of total agreement. It may never happen. But that doesn't mean that shifts and changes can't occur. Think instead, I am here to serve. I am here to serve God. I'm here to serve wholeness. I'm here to serve bridging this divide. And what does that look like to you, and how important is it to you? serve from that space. The invitation is to let loose our need to be right and to change the other person's beliefs. Number 3, courage to step out of our normal comfort zones. Having empathy doesn't mean we have to agree about everything, nor does it mean we have to change our mind about anything. Be curious about what is mine. What is mine to do? What is calling me to be, to express, to hold the space for? What is calling me in this moment? And then respond to what is calling. Be willing to step out of your normal comfort zones. Number 4, vulnerability to do something that doesn't feel normal. If we can be at home and at peace and open and vulnerable and available, then that gives people the space to be that too. But somebody has to be willing to do it in the first place. Why not us? We're the ones we've been waiting for. So be vulnerable to do something that doesn't feel normal. Feel the awkward messiness of where this is going and be willing to let kindness lead the way. Be willing to let love lead the way. Be willing to let vulnerability lead the way. Be willing to let courage and authenticity and faith lead the way. And lastly, get clear about our spiritual values and use them. Oneness, unity, inclusivity, wholeness, kindness, unconditional love. The invitation today is to be willing to be curious about ourselves, to do the inner work, to discover and become more aware of what lies beneath the surface of our conscious mind, to be open enough to actually sit down with another for however long it takes and to share from our hearts and not from our fears. To be curious enough to ask the deeper questions and open and receptive enough to really listen to the answers, even though we may not agree with them. You all know how good it feels to be listened to be heard, to be seen, right? There's a lot of work that needs to be done if we are truly to create a world that works for everyone. Curiosity is one of the superpowers that will assist us to do that. Be willing to live your life with curiosity out loud, completely, unabashedly out loud. And so it is. So I invite you to turn within, close your outer eyes, to turn our attention away from the outer world of form, the world of divides, isms, separation, judgment, assumptions, fear, doubt, worry, and even hatred. To turn our attention inward to the spiritual side of life, to that space and place that I call God, that is the very essence of joy, of peace, of love, of creativity, of divine right action, of wholeness, of unity, of unconditional love. I know that I am one with this power and presence, that I was created by it, out of it, in its image and likeness, in a moment of unconditional love. And just as I know that this is my truth, I know that it is absolutely true for each and every person sitting here this morning, each and every person within the sound of my voice. And it is from that place of unity, this deep and abiding connection that we have to every sentient being on the planet, that I speak these words about and for each of us today. Truly knowing that we are spiritual beings having a human incarnation, and that there is that within us that knows how to be curious, that knows how to set aside our preconceived assumptions, our beliefs that we know everything that there is to know, and to allow ourselves to be curious. To be curious about ourselves and to be curious about each other, whether we have known each other for an entire lifetime or we've only glimpsed each other from across the divide. A divide that does not exist on the spiritual side of life. So I claim ease and grace for us about seeing our world, our lives, our relationships through those eyes. Knowing that there is only one of us here, God. I'm so grateful to know this truth and to speak these words. So grateful for the power of prayer, knowing that these words are loosed into a law that only ever says yes, that my words are clothed in form even as they are spoken. And so I speak them and release them into that law, letting go and letting God be God. I invite everyone to anchor this prayer for yourselves, for each other, for our community, and for the world, simply by saying, and so it is. Amen. Thank you all so very much. It is now time for our conscious giving. The Triangle Center for Spiritual Living is sustained by the giving of our time, talent, and treasure. This is a time every week when we offer financial support that allows this community to continue to be a beacon of light and warmth and love in the Greater Triangle area. Together we affirm the truth that today's offering lifts this spiritual community, prospers the one giving, and adds to the energy of sufficiency on the planet. There's several ways that you can give, and they're on the screen here now or on your screens at home. Visit our website at www.trianglecsl.org. Text the word give using the following number, 919-230-8445, or mail your gift to our office at P.O. Box 4062, Cary, North Carolina, 27518. Please place your hand on your heart with your gift or with an intention for yourself or for the community. And let's say our offering affirmation in a call and response. I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I live in an abundant universe that blesses and prospers my life.
I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source.
I give with gratitude, knowing that God is my source.
And so it is.
And so it is.
So it is. As the baskets are being passed around, please welcome back to our piano the awesome, the magnificent, the brilliant, the lovely Cindy Johnson.
How much did I pay for that? Thank you.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love decision. No one else can make me forgive. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. Once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here and now. It's my decision right here and now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cindy. That was beautiful. It truly is our decision every moment to choose love or fear. Beautiful song. Thank you.
Thank you.
If anyone would like prayer, please go to our website at trianglecsl.org, and on the home page in the upper right-hand corner, click on the button and fill out the request form. We get that prayer and send it out to all the ministers and practitioners. If anyone would like to dedicate flowers to anyone for anything, please contact Heather Abbott at information@triangle.csl.org or Reverend Dusty at dustyrippelmeyer@yahoo.com. Join us later today for our annual Super Bowl game and chili cook-off. Definitely weather for the chili. The cost of the evening is $5 or a large pot of chili. The winners receive cash prizes, a trophy, or bragging rights. Please RSVP to info@triangle.csl.org with the number of people in your party and whether you'll be bringing chili for the contest. Join Reverend Dusty and other leaders for the TLC new member orientation on Sunday, February 19 at 11:45. It is an opportunity to spend some talking about underlining practices and principles of the science of mind in order to learn a little bit more about the community you may be thinking about joining. Bring a snack or a lunch that you can eat during the meeting. We're happy to have you join us. Join us for Friday, March 10th for our TCSL game night. It will be held at the Lounge at Crossroads at 200 Brisbane Woods Way in Cary. We will be there as early as 6:30 with the game starting at 7. Bring a snack to share if you'd like and join us for fellowship and fun. Our annual town hall meeting will be held in the service on Sunday, March 12th. It's an opportunity to engage with our leadership and talk all things center. Join us for our annual meditation retreat, 5 o'clock Friday evening, June 9th through 3 o'clock Sunday afternoon, June 11th. The retreat will be held at St. Francis Springs Prayer Center in Stonyville, North Carolina. We have space for the first 35 people who register. You can register with a $50 deposit through our website or in the bookstore. The cost is $300 for a double room or $400 for a single room. This includes room and board on the retreat itself. Please consider treating yourself to this very sacred and amazing, loving weekend. It is one that is unforgettable. There is an announcement sheet with all the announcements that I just said out on the table before you entered the room. Please take one when you leave today. If you forget, there's also the information listed all on our website at trianglecsl.org. So either way, you've got all the information at your fingertips or on a piece of paper. In the comfort of your own home and here, please stand for our February affirmation. This is a call and response. Please repeat it with meaning. For those here, it is also on your seat, a white piece of paper, and it says February affirmation. All right, I'll start it off. Recognizing myself as a magnificent expression of the divine, I choose to live life to the fullest.
Recognizing
Myself as a magnificent expression of the divine, choose to live life to the fullest. Knowing that Spirit is always for me, I lay aside my fear and step confidently into the unknown. Knowing that Spirit is always for me, I lay aside my fear and step confidently into the unknown. Leaning into my faith, I am free to seek out the beauty that is beneath the surface. Leaning into my faith, I am free to seek out the beauty that is beneath the surface. I dive in with curiosity and allow the joy of God to be expressed through me.
I dive in with
Curiosity and allow the joy of God to be expressed through me. I revel in the new discoveries and the unlimited possibilities they bring.
I
Revel in the new discoveries and the unlimited possibilities they bring. I am in the flow.
I am in the flow.
I am a catalyst for change.
I am a catalyst for change.
I am expressing my divine calling right here and right now.
I'm
Expressing my divine calling right here and right now. And so it is.
So it is.
And if you can please have a seat. And for the last time for today, but never the last time, because you can always do this wherever you are at, we close our outer eyes and we turn our attention within to the truth that is always there, just waiting for us to accept the truth and not make up a story. This ability is always available. Come to our new membership meeting and you will learn how. So in this moment, we close our outer eyes and we turn within and we know and we find the peace, the understanding, the gratitude that is always there, the oneness, the wholeness. I know that I am one with it. And I know that the truth is that so is everyone here. So I'm so grateful for Reverend Dusty's talk about curiosity, the willingness to be vulnerable, to open up, to explore, and to expand our understanding, our consciousness of the surroundings that we are here, our conscious and unconscious understanding of what's going on. I give great thanks for all the people that participated in the service today and opened up their great hearts. So as we leave here today, more expanded, more curious, understanding our oneness and understanding that God is truly within us. We take God with us wherever we go, always. Thank you for your vulnerability and for most of all, your curiosity. And together we anchor this and we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Please, everybody stand for our closing congregational song.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful. 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 Gratitude before me. Gratitude behind me. Gratitude to the left of me. Gratitude to the right of me. Gratitude above me. Gratitude below me. Gratitude within me. Gratitude underlying me. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful.
Thank you all so very much for being here with us today. We're so very grateful for your presence in our service and in our lives. Have an absolutely wonderful week. I love you.